Right, and we should be live. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me properly. We are live from Isabela in Galápagos. We've got about 10 minutes before to start. We're just waiting for everyone to connect. It's funny because I think the gentleman down here went live exactly the same time as me. Hi Catherine, welcome. And welcome Marty, nice to see you all here guys. We've got about 10 minutes before to go. We're just waiting for everyone to connect. And welcome Natalie. Right, let me show you my face for a second. Most of you know the drill already. I'm gonna have to test the microphone. I'll be tapping it 3 times. You tell me in the chat whether you've heard it or not. You should have heard 3 taps. Let me know that you've heard that properly. It's very bright today. I'm in the shade and it's still a bit difficult to see the chat. So if I miss any of your questions through the live, it could be because I don't see them very well, so don't be shy, ask again. Aishas, and welcome everyone that just joined. We've got about 8 minutes before it's officially time to go. And Sarah is here. Welcome, Sarah. Nice to see you all here, and I'm also glad everything is working properly. Some of you might know I've had major tech issues last tour. What happened? You might know I'm using Prism, so I'm using a third-party app to be able to stream through YouTube. And in Galapagos, the time zone is an hour different from Ecuador, but your phones can get confused. Well, especially mine. So my phone was on the wrong time. So my phone was on Ecuador time when I'm in Galapagos time zone. So I had manually changed my phone. And apparently that's what was blocking off several apps, well, including Streamlabs on YouTube and Prism. So Prism said to get it working, I have to let my phone decide what time it is, which is a bit of a pain because it's so stressful, because most of the time my phone is an hour ahead. Now, when I go on Wi-Fi for long enough, it goes by to the actual time. So I don't know what time to set an alarm for. Even this morning, I panicked because I was suddenly so I thought I was an hour ahead. Then my phone went back to the normal time. I didn't know. So I was like, okay, I've got to run. So I had time for a little swim, as you might see from my hair. Oh, you've started watching the movie, Sarah. Cool, good to know. And so yeah, it's very stressful, but for the full duration of my stay in Galapagos, I have to let my phone give me the wrong time. Or the right one, depending when it is. So now I cannot trust my phone. I have to ask Google, what time is it in Galapagos? So I'm using data just to know what time it is, but hey ho. Aishin, nice to see you here. And Tish as well, welcome Tish. And everyone else that just joined. Now I have another tech problem. That one I cannot do much about. You know, I bought a physical SIM card when I got to Ecuador. And you know, sometimes when people die or just change their network, eventually the number is being reused. Well, clearly that's what happened, because I keep receiving phone calls for a lady called Elena, and text as well, which you'd think it might not be a problem, but when I get a call when I'm live, that could, although I'm on Do Not Disturb and stuff, that could look like a signal cut when it's not. I know it's a telephone call because it happened before, and I think that's exactly what happened last time when I was in Santa Cruz. I had 2 calls, different numbers, right after one another, and then they called me again after the tour and they were asking for Elena. So I'm now the new Ecuadorian Elena. So if the signal cuts through the tour, don't panic, I'll be back, but it's probably not the signal. It might be someone calling Elena. Right, we've got a few minutes before to go. Let me show you the view again for those of you that just joined. Oops. So we'll go for a little walk in the city center, and then we'll try to go and say hello to flamingos and iguanas. Well, it is nature. We never know which animals are gonna turn up. I'll try to get you to the best spots. And welcome everyone else that just joined. So it is nearly 10 a.m. in the morning. Well, although it is 11 according to my phone and according to YouTube, but no, it is nearly 10 a.m. Oh, by the way, while I've got you here, if I was to change the timing of my next tour to an hour earlier, so 9 a.m. for me, would that be a problem for you? Would that be too early for you, for example, Pisas in British Columbia and stuff? Because I've been a bit worried about my gimbal overheating because I need it to survive another month. And I'm thinking it might be a bit cooler at 9 than it is at 10 and 10:30. And salut Mike. So let me know in the chat if that'll be too early for you, an hour earlier than this, or if it's fine. The phone can also overheat, but the phone usually doesn't get damaged. The gimbal can. I think that's what happened to my last gimbal. When it overheat in Marseille, then it never fully came back to life. Hi Mitzi. I'm up a little, I don't know whether it's a gym or if it's a kids play, which was a great idea for the view, but then I'm gonna have to go down. holding the gimbal, it's not always the easiest. It's fine for you in British Columbia? Perfect. Okay, perfect. So I'll see how hot it is in San Cristobal when I get there, and I mean it's probably like here to be honest, but we'll see. And then I might or might not change it to an hour earlier if I can. Hi Linda, nice to see you here. Yeah, because my gimbal went a bit funny last night. I was filming flamingos and it went like, ooh, and I was like, I think it might be the heat. Right, let's see what time it's. We still have a few minutes. Let's see. 3 minutes to go. 3 minutes before it is officially time to go. If anyone was completely new to me, if you've just clicked on this live stream and you don't know what you're watching, I'm Natalie. I usually do tours in the UK or in London at least, and I'm traveling at the moment. So we are in Isabela in Galápagos. So we'll go for a little live walk in the main city. Well, city, town, village. you can call it. It's the capital of the island, but. Let me show you the sign. That's where people take their group photos. Oh, thank you, Diane. That's very much appreciated. You might see, we'll get a bit closer to the sign, I'll show you a bit better, but see the seahorse on the right-hand side? It's not actually a seahorse. It's the shape of the island. Isabela is shaped in the shape of a seahorse. Is there any way to, oh yeah, a hotel? Is that what you, yeah, hotel you can stay very cheap. It's not, my hotel is, we paid $120 for 4 nights. And it's not a hotel, it's a full apartment. I mean, we've got a kitchen and everything. It's not right here, you'd have to walk 10 minutes, but I don't mind. So it's not the hotels that are expensive, it's the excursions. Very expensive. About 3 times the price of the Maldives, would you believe? And yet they get fully booked. My mate was meant to be diving today. She's not diving. It's fully booked. Although they wanted to charge $300, she's not even diving. So yeah. Right, you know what? Let me get down from here before we officially kick off because, well, I'm gonna have to take it slow. it's fine, it's just a few steps, but when you have to take them backwards with a gimbal, it can be a bit tricky. And that was easier than I imagined. Right, let me go back in the shade. Look at what they've done. This is stupid. I've never seen anything as stupid as that. Look at that. They've placed a bench under a coconut tree. This is exactly where you shouldn't put a bench, because coconuts can kill you when they fall down. No one should sit by a coconut tree. Yet, they've put a bench there. Why? It is risky. It is risky to be in the Galapagos, you see. Right, it's probably about time to go. Let me check. And yes, it is. So welcome everyone. Welcome to Isabela Island. I'm Natalie, and without further ado, let's go for a little live walk. So let me show you the shape of the island. Isabela is made out of 6 volcanoes. So this is actually the island. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where is number 6? I thought it was 6. We're missing a volcano somewhere. Anyway, we are down here. Puerto Villamil. And that's the main, Isabela, I think it's one of the quietest of the islands in terms of population and stuff. Now, it is called Isabela today, but it wasn't always. It used to be called Albemarle Bleu. It's after the Duke of Albemarle. I don't even know how you pronounce it. Albemarle, maybe. It's after the Duke of Albemarle. That's, you know, a lot of the Galápagos Islands, they used to have British names. You've got Seymour Island. Well, actually, Seymour is still called Seymour. Charles Island, after Charles I of England, because they had a Carlos I as well in Spain. You had, this one, of course, Albemarle. So they had British names because of the pirates. British pirates used to come down here. Actually, even the name Galápagos is fairly new. It used to be called the Enchanted Islands, because the pirates would apparently, depending, well, they were, oh, there's a lava lizard, let me show you. And that's a female, can you, oh, sorry, you're going too fast, my friend. That's a female, she's got a red neck. Don't know if you can see well on camera. Come back, lava lizard, come back. The males are a bit bigger and they don't have the red neck. The ladies have a red neck. I don't know if you saw it well on camera. We might see some more. So yeah, I was telling you the Enchanted Islands. The pirates would sometimes, depending on the fog or depending on where they were, because they had been mapped, but they were not always placed exactly at the same spot. You know, they're very isolated in the middle of the Pacific. So sometimes the pirates would see the island, sometimes they wouldn't. So that's why they almost appeared enchanted, you know, almost magical. And eventually they were renamed Galápagos because in Spanish it meant tortoise. The pirates, sadly, they used to eat those tortoises. They are protected now. I mean, you know, they live over 100 years. You know, we shouldn't eat them. Anyway, so yeah, they all have they had British names, and it's when Ecuador took over that eventually, I think Ecuador, took over. No, it was already Spanish, but they eventually rebranded them. Fully rebranded the names in 1892. Now let's go into the city center. By the way, those little lava lizards, they're very good because they eat the flies. I think they're called horse flies in English. Tamalos? Yeah, tamalos in Spanish, I think, or tamanos. They're horrible little flies. They usually stay on the seahorses. They are attracted by the I think they kind of eat the decomposing algae that are still on the skin of the seahorses. So that's why those little lava lizards, they climb on the seahorses because they eat those flies. And clearly, I look or I smell like a seahorse because I keep being bitten by them. It's only when you come out of the water because they like the salt on your skin. But for some reason, it's only me. My friend doesn't get bitten at all. I've got 6 bites already on my legs. You're not a target for very long. You are a target once you're just out of the water and you're still wet. I hope I don't smell like a seahorse because I can tell you they stink. Well, in French, we have an expression when someone doesn't smell very good, or if you had a long day, you know, you've had a long day, you've sweated, you might say, oh, I smell like a seahorse. Now I know why, because they do stink. Depending on how long they've been out of the water, when they're chilling in the sun, they don't smell very fresh. Anyway, let's go and have a little look at the at the church. So you can see up there. Seahorses can be dried and cooked in a soup, says Shin. I've never tried that, but that sounds interesting. And oh, we can get in. I didn't realize it was open earlier because I was looking at the wrong door. Let's have a little look inside. I'm gonna be quiet and I'll just remove my hat. Let me find station number 2. I used to have an aunt. Well, I still do. She's still alive, but she stopped. She was collecting station number 2 of the cross, the way to the cross. She would go across the world because her husband worked for Air France, and she'd collect pictures of station number 2 because, well, she was inspired by a book called The Pillars of the Sky about churches, and she had a website and people who would follow all the station number 2 across the globe. But somehow she stopped her collection because when I went somewhere, then I would take a picture of station number 2 and send it to her for her website. She should have really started on Instagram, but hey ho. So that was an interesting station number 2. Sometimes they are wood carvings, sometimes they're paintings, sometimes they're metal, it could be anything. So it's interesting to look at them. Anyway, let me show you a view of the full altar and all that. There we go. It's nice, it looks very tropical. Let's go and take a look at the painting actually, because I can see a tortoise behind. Oh, I can see penguins. I might be able to see penguins tomorrow. Oh, Linda, once you come out of town, it's very quiet. There are about, I think on Isabela, there are about 3,000 people. Oh, it's an iguana, not a turtle. There he is. Oh, it's not penguins. There's one penguin, but those are blue boobies. I've not seen a blue booby yet. But I've seen a lot of t-shirts in the gift shop. T-shirts with the blue feet and it just says, I love boobies. I wonder if I should buy one. Right, let's get out. Oh, is that the confessional, you think? It's a Catholic church, there should be a confessional. Maybe. I don't have anything to confess. If I did, I would tell it to the tortoise. Because the tortoise, apparently they can curse you. If you come to the islands with bad intentions, the tortoise, they know and they curse you. Oh, that's why I was coming here, actually. Let me not forget. I wanted to show you the statue. Because I don't know if you remember, we walked past, well, I didn't actually mention it, but we walked past a very similar one in Santa Cruz the other day. And I didn't know who he was, I didn't pay much attention, but I saw the same guy again. I was like, hold on, he must be the Saint Patron of nature or something, because he's the same guy with his Ruth. Well, it could look like a big dog, but it looks like a Ruth to me. That's actually Saint Francis of Assisi. He's the Saint Patron of nature and ecology. So you can see he's got a little birdie in his hand. And here is the wolf. I think he's got a story in the Bible of, well, managing to live with or to have a wolf as a pet. And here is a little frog. Don't think we have any frogs here, but hi Leonie, and welcome everyone that just joined. Now let's go and take a look at another statue. A chap you might recognize. It is Charlie. Not King Charlie, no, it's Charles Darwin. Now, there's a little myth about Darwin that he completely based his theory of evolution after his stay in Galápagos. It is true that he definitely came here. He did come to Isabela. He went to Isabela, San Cristobal, Floriana, and where else? He went to 4 of the islands. He didn't sleep on the islands. He slept on his ship. He was on a ship called the Beetle. But personally, I don't buy it that it's only because of his observation here that he got his full theory of evolution, because I'll show you why. Let me go into the shade so I can see what I'm talking about. I'll show you. This is a poem from Erasmus Darwin. So we're talking about Charles' granddad. So we're talking 1803. It was published, but I think it was published post-mortem anyway. So, these, as successive generations bloom, new powers acquired on larger limbs assume. Once countless group of vegetation spring, on breathing realm of fin on foot and wing. I mean, I don't know about what you think, but this sounds very much like the theory of evolution in a poem. I don't know why people didn't go mad about it at that time, because that's, of course, the problem with, or the thing with evolution is that it contradicted to an extent the telling of the Bible. You know, when the Bible told you that God had created every animal on earth in the space of 7 days, and also at the time they didn't quite know of the concept of extinction. Now, we'll talk about extinction next month, because you might have seen on my listings, I'm taking you down to the Jurassic coast. So we'll talk about an amazing lady. So the concept of extinction was already coming up because of the fossils that were taken down from the cliffs on the beach of southern England. Anyway, here is Charles Darwin. He did come here, and you see a lot of street and or stuff named after Darwin in all the Galápagos, as we saw the other day in Santa Cruz. Now, behind us there, I think that's the town hall. Now, to get back to the theory of evolution, what is evolution anyway? The theory of evolution is that randomly, through generation of breeding. Now we know we're talking about genetic mutations. They didn't know at the time, but you have some random accidents. And if that accident makes your life easier to live, if you can live for longer, you should be able to reproduce more. And then that gene or that new thing would spread through the population. For example, if I was born, or my kids were born with purple eyes, if that gave me a better vision, maybe the gene would live longer, have more babies, and the gene would live longer. or maybe because I'll have purple eyes, I'll have much more sex because people would find me so pretty. I guess nowadays humans are not really a good example, but in terms of adapting to the environment, thank you, Holly. If the gene helps you, then the gene will spread through the population. They wouldn't call it gene at the time. They just like random accidents or random changes. Darwin did spend a lot of time down here looking at finches. Personally, I think the iguanas, we'll talk about them in a moment, it's much more obvious with the iguanas, but let me show you Darwin's finches. When he came here to Galapagos, he noticed that they all had slightly different beaks. I think it's because they do eat some kind of residue in the rocks, probably algae as well, actually. And depending on the size of the rocks, you know, all the islands are slightly different. They're all volcanic islands, but the little gaps into the rocks might be smaller or bigger. So their beaks had evolved, although they were the same species, really. That wouldn't make sense. Why would God have created them slightly different on each island? And everything is much more obvious in Galapagos because those islands they've evolved independently from the mainland. Anyway, let me show you another chap, José de Villamil. The port is, I mean, the city is called after him. He was a former governor of the Galapagos. Now let's go and take a look at, we'll get back to evolutions with the iguanas. I'm hoping to find some on the beach. But for now, let's go down to see the flamingos. Hopefully they'll be there. I was there an hour ago just to check my route and they'll be there. They were there at least. Maybe not very close to the camera, but we'll see. Here is a cache point. If any of you planning to visit the Galapagos are watching this live one day, you might read on the internet that there's no cache point on the island. It's not true. There's one here. Things change very quickly. You know, when you're planning a trip, if you want to watch YouTubers and stuff, make sure you watch something fairly recent. For example, it might say on the internet that it costs $100 to come into Galapagos. Not true. Now it's $200. It's been raised quite recently. And now there's a new tax as well to get, well, at least on this island, you get out of the ferry, you have to pay $10 tax, apparently. So there are some new, in terms of the prices, everything can change very quickly. It's an interesting country because it's not expensive the hotels are not too expensive. Well, I always stay in the cheapest place ever, but it's not very expensive. The food you can eat for $6. A starter on a main with a free juice or iced tea or whatever it is. If you go down to, well, actually on most of the islands it's by the Mercado Municipal. So $6, honestly, is really not much. If you go for the Menu del Dia, and you can choose, you can have, so you can eat a full meal for $6, but if you want to do an excursion, like 5 hours, tomorrow we're going down to a place called Tunnels. That's where you have to go, you know, it's kind of like lava tunnels where you can snorkel and see seahorses, sharks, turtles, and potentially penguins. I'm hoping to see the penguins, but this is, we'll see. This is 5 hours an excursion, and the best price we could get was $110. Now the same type of excursion in the Maldives, I got it for $35. And we're talking the Maldives, you know, that's meant to be one of the most expensive places to go. So it's very funny here because the excursions are very expensive, yet you can eat for $6. And it's not very busy. I think they try to limit the numbers of people because, of course, it's a nature reserve. So that's probably why they can charge whatever they want in terms of attractions, because if they limit the amount of people, you cannot play with the competition trying to get a better price elsewhere and stuff, because there are only so many places available anyway. Yes, here they are. Thank you for coming, flamingos. They're a bit far, but here they are. I'm gonna zoom in a bit capybaras. I might see some. I'm going down the Amazon when I'm in Peru, Tish, so we might see some capys, who knows. Here they are. So it's a bit blurred because I've had to zoom in a bit, but here are the pink flamingos. I wish they would come closer, but oh well, it's nice to see them anyway. Right, let me zoom out before I forget. Tish Herbie, let me show you on Facebook. I saw some perfect Christmas gift for you in Santa Cruz. I saw some caipi rucksacks that were quite pretty. I didn't buy them, of course. I didn't buy you a Christmas gift, I'm afraid. I mean, I'm traveling in hand luggage, so not exactly possible. Anyway, let's walk towards the beach. And there's something I didn't ask you. What did you think about the Galápagos mystery? Did you read the book? Did you see the documentary? Did you watch the movie? Did you come up with any theories of your own? If any of you are watching me for the first time, we've got no idea what we're talking about. On the island of Floriana, down south, there was a huge murder mystery in 1934. Potential poisoning. So there was a couple that disappeared, a very annoying lady with one of her lovers, never seen again. Then there was a poisoning, officially chicken meat poisoning. And then there were two that died on a shipwreck as well. German immigrants to the island. Did you see the movie? Let me know in the chat. Or did you see the documentary? Did anyone come up with a theory? Hello. Hola. ¿Cómo estás?
¿Todo bien? ¿Y tú? ¿Cómo estás?
Sí.
¿Disfrutando, Isabela?
¿Ah?
¿Disfrutas de Isabela?
Yeah.
How long?
2 days.
Today?
Yeah.
¿Y no viste el camino?
Oh, sí, ya he visto.
¿Miraste bioluminescencia? Color blue de plankton?
No.
Wow, they're so good here in Isabela Island. You can enjoy the look on the night.
Oh, ¿dónde?
En el embarcadero. ¿Conoces el embarcadero?
¿Aquí?
Donde tú llegaste de Santa Cruz.
Oh, yeah.
Ahí, coges tus maletas ahí en ese lugar.
Okay. ¿Es de noche cada noche o tenemos
Toda la
que...?
noche, tienes que ver el cielo que está oscuro, ahí tú puedes mirar eso.
So even if the moon is small, you can see them? Okay. Thank you. Yeah. I did not know that. The gentleman on the bicycle was telling me we can see the plankton. You know the fluorescent plankton? I saw it in... where did we saw it? Where did he see it? Oh, I saw it in Rajdu in the Maldives. But I thought it was only when the full moon was on. Because when there's hardly any moon, it's hard to see the plankton. But it's good to know. We never know. There's a spot down there where you can, that's where the ferry arrives actually. That's where you have the mangrove. So it's a nice snorkeling spot because you can see a lot of animals in the mangrove. And he's saying there's a fluorescent plankton. Well, he didn't say fluorescent, he said blue, but I guess it's the same. Because otherwise, if it wasn't fluorescent, you wouldn't see it at night anyway. But good to know, I might try to do that tonight. Because we don't have to wake up early tomorrow, because the excursions, they usually start very early, like 7, but I was fully booked, so we've got an excursion at 11, so we could we could go for a beer on the beach and wait for the blue plankton. Right, what did I miss in the chat? Hold on, let's see. Oh, you think, Pisas, you think the girlfriend poisoned the doctor? Yeah, I'm pretty sure she did. I don't know why. I don't know whether it was because she mistreated, he was treating her badly, or if it's because she found out that he was guilty or partially guilty of the double murder or disappearance. But yeah, I pretty much agree that I find it very unlikely that a doctor would get stupidly poisoned by by toxic chicken, because he knew the chicken had died because of food poisoning, because they were given bad meat. So, but yeah, I think she poisoned him. What else did I miss? Let me go up the chat, see if I've missed any other theories. No, I don't speak Spanish, Natalie. Well, I used to, because when I lived in the US, the vast majority, I was in a little town about an hour from Spokane, but there was a huge potato chip factory, potato chips and a lot of the kids in my school were Mexicans. So at the time I spoke a bit better Spanish, but not anymore. When you don't use it, you lose it. Right. This is the spot where we can see some of my iguana friends. Let's see if we find them. There were a couple earlier when I walked my route. Not as many as yesterday afternoon, but there should be some. Oh, there's a pelican as well, straight in the middle. Don't know if you can see the pelican. When they fish those pelicans, it's very, I think it's a pelican, right? It's very impressive because they dive straight in the water. They grab their fish and then they come back up, but they go straight in like. Right, where are my friends? If there are not any in those rocks, there'll be some. They can be hard to see because some of them can be a bit dark. Let's go and say hello to the pelicans anyway. Oop. Hello, you. Did you see any iguanas around? Oh, there are some here. Hey, hold on, tiny ones. Let me show you. They're black on the black rocks, so they might be hard to see on camera, but here they are. Those are tiny ones. Oh, crabs as well. Hello, you. Wow, look at your color. It's funny because there are a lot of crabs, yet I've not seen many of them on the menu. Maybe we're not allowed to eat those, I don't know. Hello, do you want to be a YouTube sensation? No. Right, let's go and see my friend here, the iguana. So the iguanas, those are not the most impressive. This one is tiny, but there are some huge ones. Hopefully, one of them told me yesterday he'll be back this morning, so hopefully he'll be there. They're quite different from the iguanas you have in Latin America. So it's fairly obvious that they came from the continent at some point. Oh, there's a crab as well. This one is coming out. Yeah, they would have come from the continent probably millions of years ago. On maybe a floating, oh, there's a bigger one down there as well too, actually. Can you see them down there? So yeah, they would have come from the continent, but probably on a big floating piece of wood. And they would have landed on the island somehow. Now, the iguanas, they usually eat some vegetation. At the time here, there was no vegetation whatsoever. The island is made out of lava rock, and that's it. It's not very obvious in the city center, because in the city center, to be honest, the part we've just crossed, we could have been anywhere in tropical islands, because of those palm trees and stuff. You could be in the Maldives, you could be in the Philippines, or even in the Caribbean to an extent. But as we get out of the city center, it's very much big lava rock and huge cactuses. We don't really have much of those huge cactuses in the city center, but we're talking about trees, cactuses the size of a tree. What happened with the cactuses is that they were eaten by the tortoise. So they had to grow taller and taller and taller so the tortoise couldn't reach them. Again, evolution, Darwin. But those iguanas, they didn't have anything to eat. So they started to eat another type of weed, seaweed. So they had to learn how to swim. And of course, you have to breathe when you are underwater. So they've developed the capacity to be able to stay underwater up to an hour. This one loves being on camera, but you know what? Let's go a bit further. Let's try to find the big ones. So they've developed the capacity to swim so they could eat seaweed. Now, there's a problem with seaweed. It's lovely. It's full of nutrients, actually. It's probably even better than normal weed in terms of nutrients. But what's the problem with seaweed? Let me know in the chat if you know. What's wrong with seaweed? Let me know in the chat, and I'd look for bigger ones. There should be some big ones as well. Yeah, he was smiling. I need to ask the guide tomorrow in my excursion, because not only do they smile, exactly, Pauline, the salt, too salty. Not only do they smile, but they also do something with their neck. It looks like they have a bit of a fit, to be honest. It looks a bit like an epileptic fit. They kind of shake their heads. I don't know whether they're trying to digest or maybe to move the seaweed to a different chambers of their stomach, or if they're trying to, there are more here, if they're trying to get the salt water out. Because yeah, the problem with the seaweed is indeed the salt. So they had to develop a way to get rid of the salt. And the salt actually, oh, there's a big one there. Let's go and see the big one. Sorry, not that I don't love you, but we've got a big friend up there. Not that they don't. Hello, you. Are you my friend? Oh, he's doing it. He's doing the fit. You see? Are you my friend from yesterday? You might be. You look like him. Yes, you told me you were coming, didn't you? I'm not gonna get too close because there's another one right here next to me. They don't attack, you know, they don't do anything, but hello, you. Gonna speak to your bigger friend, okay? Because we've seen your cousin down there. So yeah, they actually spit. I probably shouldn't stay too close because they do spit or kind of, oh, there's a lava lizard. So this is a male because he doesn't have the red neck. So yeah, they spit salty water every so often. So they'll be kind of coughing it out. I've only seen it once. I've got it on camera actually. I'll show you in my videos. Can you spit water, my friend? Can you do it for the camera? Oh, actually, maybe not. It might not be very good for my gimbal. Oh, there is the lava lizard. Can you see him on the wood? So they swim. When you go snorkeling, you can see them underwater as well. I don't have a good underwater camera. My friend has an old GoPro, but yeah, come. Yeah. You like to be on camera? Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know what they're actually doing when they're doing that. I need to ask. Well, I'm sure I could also ask ChatGPT, but better to ask my guide tomorrow. No, they're not shy. We're not meant to approach them too much. We're meant to stay about 2 meters from most of the animals. Well, the iguanas, I don't think anything happened because I've touched one by accident yesterday. Sometimes when they're the same color as the rocks or the wood, and I did, hey, you coming? Yeah. I did touch one yesterday. I didn't see him. Where are you going? Where are you going? Yeah, if you go, we'll follow you. Because I can show you the tracks on the sand. It's funny because you see the tracks of the tail. Well, it's mainly on the wet sand. But you also see the tracks of so you can see straight away when you're following iguanas' tracks. I'm gonna be careful as I walk because he's got some little friends right down here as well. I don't wanna be stepping on anyone. Can you give me some space, please? No, I should give you some, I know. Right. Let's say bye to the big one. Then we can go down to see if... See, they're following me. You there as well. You want to be on camera as well, I can see. See, he's doing it again, the neck thing. It looks tiring to... it's probably for digestion. They probably need to get the stuff down. Anyway, let's go and see if there are more on the next rocks. This is a cool bar. I've not been, but they have a cool deco, the pink bar. And let's go down the wet sand so I can show you the tracks. Oh, there's another. Let's go and say hello to this one as well. Hold on. We probably don't even need to go till the next rocks because at least the signal is good here. I don't know if it's going to be good down there. Hello, you. Do you want to be on camera? Oh yes, I can show you the tracks. Perfect, my friend. That's exactly what I was looking for. Hello. Do you want to say hello to my YouTube friends? Oh, they are asserting dominance to their rivals. Well, they probably are asserting dominance to me then. Oh, that's right. I don't know if I've seen them doing it alone. It's often two of them when they do that. Yeah. Right, let's see the tracks. So you can see, I don't see much on camera, but you've got the tracks of the tail, and you've got the little paws on the side as well. Might be a bit too bright to see actually. Right, let's go down to the next set of rocks. Much further down there, there's a little cemetery down there. Too far for us to go today. We walked 25 kilometers yesterday. There's also a wall to see down there, Muro de las Lágrimas, the walls of tears. Isabela actually started as a penal colony, with a lot of criminals being locked up, from Ecuador. And there's a location down there. Well, it's actually a former US Army base. Through the Second World War, although Ecuador was neutral after Pearl Harbor, the US wanted to make sure they kept control out of the Pacific. And they asked the Ecuadorian government if they could settle a base here, well, a few actually, in Galápagos, just to be able to control, German or Japanese submarines and stuff like that. So Ecuador was still neutral for about a year, but then eventually they did join the Allies, which was a bit annoying for Ecuador, because there are some German, or there were some German migrant communities down here, as we talked about in Floriana with the triple murder mystery. So that was a bit uncomfortable for. Actually, you know what? We talked about Margaret, the Whitmers in Floriana in the murder mystery. Margaret did have a big portrait of Adolf Hitler in the little home in Floriana. She probably didn't know, they didn't have the news. They had a few newspapers every so often, so they probably didn't even know what was happening in terms of fascism and stuff. Oh, there's another one there, I think. Oh, is it a rock? No, I think it's a big iguana. Let's go and say hello. It's a kind of communication according to Google. Yeah, you know what? That's probably, that's what it looks like to me, because they do it to me or to each other, but I don't think I've seen them doing it completely alone. I hope I'm not gonna get a big wave, because I'm in the... Hello there! You getting suntan or you digesting? There's another little one here. Hiya! So yeah, back to the war. So there was a military, US military base down there, and eventually when they left, most of them have been dismantled, but the site became the site of the penal colony, and between 90 and 300 prisoners were locked up there, and apparently the conditions were absolutely terrible. They would give them stuff to do, like hard labor. They would have to walk in the sun with those big lava rocks to build a wall, the wall of tears. The wall was completely useless. There was no need for a wall. It was just to give them a punishment. That's why we still have the wall standing today as a little reminder of the horrors those prisoners. Well, they were criminals, but still. And the conditions apparently were so bad that a lot of them died. So much so that in the 50s there was a bit of a rebellion, and they killed some of the guards. I love my true crimes. I did try to look for you into murders in Isabela Island. I didn't find many apart from those at the penal colony. So that's there's a bit of a hike. You can walk all the way. This beach is actually 3 kilometers long, and then you walk in the middle of the giant cactuses. And oh, I did see some tortoises yesterday on the way, and then eventually you get to the wall of tears. Oh, talking about crimes, I did find another crime. Brace yourself, it's very bad. In the 90s, apparently, there was a gang of people stealing or illegally fishing sea cucumbers. Now, if you don't know what a sea cucumber is, it's this one. So it's an animal, it's not a vegetable, it's an animal. It's being eaten a lot. I think in China they love it, but it's illegal to fish. They are protected, and so yes, the patrol actually had to fire their guns at them. That's it. That's the only crime I could find. So those islands are very, very safe. People leave their bags and go swimming. You don't really get. Well, I'm still careful, you know, I never go too far, or I don't keep my passport in my bag, but they're very, very safe, apparently. I spoke to one Austrian lady living here a couple of days ago. She said she never got anything stolen apart from her flip-flops. You coming? Yeah, I love when you say yes. Apart from the flip-flops, but it might have been an iguana that grabbed them. Or any other animal. They're very impressive. So for me, I mean, visually, you know, for me with the iguanas, it's even more evident the theory of evolution when you see the iguanas, because this is I believe it's the only place where you have marine iguanas. You know, oh, there's another big one down there, look. Because they're the same color as the rocks. Sometimes you don't see them straight away. And yeah, not only are they big, but they swim. And that's why Darwin became, some would say, the most dangerous man on land. He did not publish his theory straight away. So he came back from Galápagos, and he also went to Latin America, he went to Cape Verde, he went to New Zealand. I mean, it wasn't only Galápagos, you know, that he visited. And he actually kept his theory for himself for a while, until another guy, I think he was Watson? Well, there was another scientist that was going to publish. So then he didn't want to be overshadowed by the other one, so they decided to publish together. Ah, there's another one right behind me. Of course, the church was not happy, but it's personally, I think it was probably brewing in his mind for a while, even before the trip, because his granddad's poem sounds very much like the theory of evolution to me. Yes, Larry, it is very quiet. You've got about 3 kilometers of white sandy beach, and this is the perfect temperature. I mean, because it's only 10 a.m., it's not too warm. At 2 or 3 in the afternoon, I understand why people are not, or even 12, because you get burned. I've not even been sunbathing without a t-shirt. I go to swim and I put my t-shirt straight back on because the sun is very strong. My friend actually got burned. So you have to be very careful. But at this time, it's still okay. It's more like in a couple of hours, you'll feel the. You know what? You know where I got burned? I got burned on my wrist. I didn't. It's probably not very visible on camera, but never got burned on my wrist before. It's probably because obviously you cannot cover them. That's when I was doing the tour in Santa Cruz the other day. You cannot really cover them because, I mean, never did I get sunburn on my hands, but yeah, I did. Everywhere else I've been overly careful, putting tons of cream and stuff. And yesterday we were out all day walking down to the Muro de las Lágrimas. But yeah, you have to be careful with the sun. It's particularly strong. Yes, exactly. There's a baby iguana using her flip-flops somewhere. I can probably give them my flip-flops if they want, because They're so old. They've been walking with me for a while. I bought them in India last year, and they're so old that they're painful. There's no more material on them. And of course, I did the 25 kilometers yesterday with my flip-flops, would you believe? So I probably should get some new ones. So if the iguanas want mine, that's not a problem. Let's go and see this last one down here, and then they'll... Oh no, there's another thing I wanted to show you. We've got quite a few of you from the United States here in the chat. Do you guys have, in America, it might vary depending on the states, but do you have $1 coins? I'll show you, I've got some here. Because, I mean, I lived in the US for a year and I don't remember those coins. I have a feeling the United States minted them and gave them all to Ecuador because they are everywhere here. Am I going to the smaller nature-only islands on an excursion? No. Well, maybe in San Cristobal, but no, not. The excursions are so expensive. So far, I'm doing only one, the one tomorrow. I'll see in San Cristobal, but so far, no. Yeah, you have them in Canada, but because here we use the US dollars since 2000, I think it was. Yes, you do? Okay. Let me show you the other one. You've got, you literally have, I mean, they've definitely been big in the US. But there are so many of them here. Maybe they just prefer them because the $1 notes with the humidity and the tropical climates, it's not ideal to have notes. But yeah, here there are a lot of those, the decimals, I don't have any on my wallet. The decimals, it's American dollars, it's US dollars, but they actually mint them here with Ecuadorian designs. The notes, it's only US notes they're using. And you have to be careful because they don't want them to be damaged. So if you want to spend US dollars here, you have to check that there's no writing on them or anything because you know, in the US, sometimes people they have a batch of notes and they'll write the amount on the note. Which is, I mean, in the EU, it's very much illegal to write on a note, but somehow people in the US do it anyway. Those notes, I don't think they would be accepted here. The moment anyone has written anything on it, they wouldn't be accepted. They were a big deal for a while, but you haven't seen them around for a few years. Well, you know what, Sandy? I'll have to find a way to check, but I wonder if the US government didn't give them all to Ecuador, because there are a lot here. You actually see the $1 coin much more than you see the note. You see the notes, but it's probably tourists bringing them. Because yeah, I don't think I even saw any when I lived in the US, and now here they're everywhere. Anyway, that's gonna be the end of the tour. Now, if you see in the distance before we go, you don't see any more palm trees or anything down there. Once you leave the city, it's very much dry lava rock, and you can see why a lot of animals had to adapt to the elements. And actually, I've seen very few mammals. Well, apart from the seahorses, I think they are mammals, but you know, didn't see any monkeys or squirrels or anything like that. But that would make sense because how would they get there? They have cattle and stuff, but I guess those were brought by the pirates. Look at this one with his beak. The bird. I don't know how well. I never see how well you see on camera because I don't see much with the sun. Let's see the birdies. There are little birdies here as well. Cool. Thank you guys for coming today. I'm really glad the technology stayed with me today because I was really frustrated the other day when I couldn't use Prism. because those tours, you know, they could be a lot of fun when everything goes right, but once the technology is not with you, it can be so frustrating because you spend a lot of time kind of researching and preparing them, and then you if you're not able to run them properly, it's annoying. Talking about the dollars, there's another thing you probably, if anyone is planning a trip actually, you probably want to know. When you buy a bottle here, plastic or glass, most of the glass ones as well, you'd give them a caution. Oh, thank you, Linda. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Pauline as well. That's very, very much appreciated. So if you buy a bottle of beer or even a bottle of Sprite, you'd pay a bit of a caution that it can actually be up to $1. I mean, I've got to go back to the shop to get a dollar. At the supermarket in Santa Cruz, it was very complicated because they'll need a passport, a phone number, everything, and that was only, I think, 50 pence. Here, even in the small tiny shops, they gave me a token for $1, so I've got to bring the bottle back and I get my dollar back, which is great to push people to recycle. I've seen that before in many countries in Europe, like in Latvia, Lithuania. I think they were gonna do it in Scotland as well, but it's far less in Europe. It's about 20 cents, and it doesn't have to be yourself that brings them with them. Like in Latvia or in Finland, you can put the cans next to the public bins, and people that might be struggling or homeless, they collect them and they bring them back to the shop and they get the 20p, which is, it's good as well. Here it's up to $1, so you probably do want them back at the shop to get your dollar back. So if you do, you need to ask, because a lot of tourists, they probably don't know, so they probably think, oh, it's a bit expensive, but no, it's because you get your dollar back if you bring back the bottle. So it's good for the planet. I mean, obviously we are in a nature reserve, so they do care. Oh, he's back here, hello. They do care about ecology down here, so it's good to know. Do you want to say bye-bye to my mates? Okay, bye. Bye. Cool. Thank you guys for coming today. It's always a pleasure to have so many of you with me. And depending when I get to San Cristobal, once I have a route for the tour, I'll then decide whether I push it an hour earlier or not. Because I think if I stay on the seaside, it's fine. There's a bit of sea breeze, so it's not too warm right now. But if I did want to go a bit inland, depending on what I discover on the island, then I might put it up at 9 a.m. instead of 10, just for the temperature for the material, for the gimbal and everything. So keep an eye. If you make sure to hit the bell, the notification bell, this way, even if I'm hoping not, but even if I did change the timing for an hour, you'll get notified anyway, so you wouldn't miss it. Anyway, thank you for coming. Thank you for your support, guys. If anyone dropped a little tip on PayPal or buy me a coffee, that's also very much appreciated. What's next, Linda? San Cristobal. So that's my last stop in Galápagos. So I have to take a ferry back to Santa Cruz, and then another one from Santa Cruz to San Cristobal. And that'll be the last stop in Galápagos. After that, we've got Peru, providing I can find some cheap internet in Peru. Because here I had to pay $40 for internet, but I was doing 3 tours, so you know it's okay. But in Peru, I'm only doing 1, so I'm hoping to find some cheaper SIM card and data plan, because I don't want to pay $40 for one live stream. So we'll see. Oh, I'm surrounded by iguanas now. There's one here, there's one there, and another one right here. It captivates the lizards. Cool. Thank you guys for coming today. Have a great evening or a great morning, whatever time it is for you, wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you in San Cristobal. Let me show you my face again. If any of you were completely new to me, I hope I got you hooked, and that'll be great if you subscribed, so you can make sure you don't miss out on the next lives, because it's very easy to miss those lives. You know, you could. Apologies if I've missed anything in the chat. On the white sand in the background, I cannot read anything actually. But yeah, it's very easy to miss those lives. So the best way not to miss them is to subscribe and hit the bell. Otherwise, you'd probably end up watching a replay, which is fine as well. But it's better to be able to interact with us in the chat. Thank you guys. Have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.